Hello and welcome back. So I guess this is the, Canva Magic Layers Part 2 video. Since they released that feature, not that, maybe like a week ago, there have been a lot of questions and just confusion around layers in general, not even the magic part, just layers. And a lot of people who are just confused, like what's a layer? Like, okay, we know magic is all the AI stuff, but what's a layer? And I thought about it and I didn't really talk about it in the first video because I probably just made a bunch of assumptions. Layers are a really, fundamental concept in just a lot of design, whether it's like graphic design or photography or like 3D modeling or just a lot of design things. Layering is just a pretty fundamental principle where you view, in this case, like a two-dimensional image as if it was three-dimensional, and then each layer, air quotes, is like a different level. Let me illustrate it, and then I'll describe it as I go through, and I think it'll be a little bit easier to understand, and then I'll kind of wrap that into what Magic Layers is actually doing. So this is just Canva, and this is just canva.com, and then once you log in, at least when I log in, it opens up to the templates. Again, it doesn't matter, we're not going to stay here. And let me just create something new, and I think a poster makes the most sense. Again, you don't have to really use Canva or know how to use Canva. This is just to illustrate what layers are. So this is just a blank, in this case, poster, but this is just a blank thing, right? And I'm going to go to elements and I'm going to go to shapes. And I'm just going to take a square, right? We're going very just simple to illustrate a point. So this is just a square. This is a white background and then a dark blue square. No problem, right? And we take a circle and make it a different color just so that you can see the difference. So we'll make this a little bit lighter color, and then we'll put this where it overlaps the square, right? So now there's a background, and then there's a square, and then there's a circle. And it just looks the way it looks. But if I right click it, there's an option for layer, and I can also hit Alt-1, and then it brings up this little layering menu. So now maybe I don't like the way this looks, and maybe I want the square to be on top of the circle. So if we look over here, you have circle, and then you have square, and then you have the background. So if I want the square on top, I put this on top. And now if you look at the difference over here, now it's background, circle, square. And this is the whole idea of like visualizing this two-dimensional image in 3 dimensions, because I can change which one is on top of the other one, so to speak. And then let's put a triangle in here, and again, change the color so you can see it. Let's make that red, and then put that overlapping both of them, right? Now again, Alt-1 to bring up layers. Now the triangle is on top, then the circle, then the square. But if I want the circle on top of the triangle, I do that, and then you see this is subtle, but now the circle is on top of the triangle. Again, changing it back, now the triangle is on top. If I do this, now the square is on top. This is the idea of layers, and there's this is easier to see in 3 dimensions, and I don't really have Blender set up or anything. Let me, I saw an image that I think will work. Where are you? Yeah. Okay, so look at this image, right? And it's the same idea. Like these are all the same shape, but just imagine this is really similar to what I just created. This is more of a 3-dimensional look. And it's like, this is a layer, this is a layer, and this is a layer. And if I took one of these and I rearranged the order, and then it's like, this is looking like top down. But these are all layers, and I can move these and manipulate these however I want, and then put them in the final position, and then kind of take a snapshot of it, and that's what I end up with in this image. So if you, I know when I look at an image like this, I actually kind of see it this way, and it's probably just from habit and doing design stuff for forever, but like, this is the idea with layers. And hopefully that makes it a little bit clearer. So now if I go back to the image that I did in part one of this, this was from NotebookLM and I had it create an infographic. And when NotebookLM and Gemini and ChatGPT and Perplexity and all the different tools will make their infographics or just different kinds of images, they're usually flat. And by flat, I mean that there are no layers. There's just one image and you can't do anything with it. It is effectively one layer. And what Magic Layers does is it takes this, which again, I already ran it on this, so this is not the best example, but like, let's say this was still the flat image. Magic Layers takes that and it scans it and it separates everything out into layers. So when I first had this in here, the layers panel on here would have just had one layer. Now if I go to the layers panel, this is really kind of busy, that's why I didn't start with this. But now this image, this infographic has all these layers. And now the reason why I can go on here and just kind of move things and change things is because it's separated out all the images that it found into different layers. So if I pick, I don't know, let's pick one. So let's pick the sun here, right? If I click on it, this is outlined and then this is where it is in our layers. And then it's like the spoon is kind of to the side of it, so that doesn't matter. And then this is the background. So like, let's say I put the background on top of the sun now, the sun's going to go behind it. Like, sun's not gone. It's right here. And even if I click on it in here, it outlines this, but it's behind this background now. So again, looking at the layers, it's like the sun is back here where the blue would be, and it would be aligned with the orange. The orange is the background now because I put that layer in front. And if you're looking at it from the top down, you can't see the sun. It's still there, and I can prove it because I just move it and it's right there. And even the spoon, I didn't even call out the spoon, but it's like now that I put the background in front, the spoon, you can't see it. But again, the spoon, if I click on it, that's the outline. And if I move it up, spoon's right there. Again, this is the idea of layers. So it's like I move some things around in the other video. So it's like this leaf, if I click on it, this is actually behind the background now. Maybe I don't want that. So if I move it in front of the layer, now it's in front. But now it's blocking this. And maybe I want that in front. So it's like, this is, again, it gets kind of busy when you have more complicated images and more layers, but this is the idea. And you can just go back to, I have 3 shapes here, but you can go back to even just 2 shapes and just play around with layers like this until you kind of get the idea. And then when you go to something bigger like this, then it's easier to kind of look through and it's just like, hey, for some reason, I want this to be behind other things. And where's that? So maybe I want that bubble to be behind the background. So now it's behind there. Like, that looks terrible. You wouldn't actually do that, but maybe you want to. Maybe you want to give an example of poor design. So you put that little speaking bubble behind the background. It's like, this is an example of what not to do. Like, I don't know, design things however you want. But this is the idea with layers. And when you get something from, again, in this case, NotebookLM, that I wasn't able to edit or change anything, it's because it doesn't have any layers. And NotebookLM doesn't give you any opportunity to create layers. Like, you can take that infographic from NotebookLM, Gemini, whatever tool you use, and put it in a different like graphic design tool, and you can trace everything out and you can make layers out of it, because that's all the Magic Design did. It just traced each of these and then it put each element in a different layer. It takes a long time. Like, if I did that for every element in here, that would take probably hours. Magic Layers did it in, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. So it saves a ton of time, and it didn't do everything. It's like, these are still a group, but I can click on this and then I can go back to Magic Layers and I can run it again. So it's like, if I wanted each of these clouds on a different layer, I can just select this and then I can run Magic Layers again. It'll just run it on this. And again, this is going to take a minute, but then when it's done, in theory, I'll have more than one layer with these clouds. And it's just taking what has always been a manual, time-consuming process, and it's just making it way, way, way shorter. So it's like, okay, so now, and again, I changed the background, so I'd have to edit that. But now I click on this cloud and that cloud, and it's like there's so many of them now, it's hard to even demonstrate on here, but it's like this was a cluster now. Before, when I clicked on it, now I can click on all these individually. And I can click on the background individually, so I'd want to take that, and I'd probably change the color of that. Like I would change some things from a design perspective, but like all of these are now selectable. So it's like once you do your bigger infographic, your bigger image, if you still have a cluster, so like let's say I pick this cluster and I wanted to select each individual raindrop, I just select it and I edit and I run Magic Layers again, or again, I go through it manually and I trace each of these and then put them on a separate layer. I don't know. Hopefully that helps a little bit and just gives you an idea of layers. And if it didn't help, again, just take, Canva or Photoshop or Affinity Designer or GIMP or Inkscape or whatever tool you have. And if you don't have any tool, again, GIMP, Inkscape, and Krita, they're all free open source projects. So look for those and download those and try one of those out and just open up something. Just put on a couple of, just put on 2 shapes. Let's get rid of that one. Just put on 2 shapes and overlap them, and then find the layers feature, and then just move things around until you get the idea of, hey, this one is in front of that one. That one is now in front of that one. And think about this 3D image. And once you get that, then you can add a 3rd shape. And then once you kind of get the concept of like 2 or 3, then you can scale up to however many you want. So having, 50 or 100 or whatever, it's not really a big deal once you get the concept. But that's what's happening behind the scenes with Magic Layers and why you can't really edit a lot of the output from NotebookLM, Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever. So again, hopefully that helps if you were a little unsure about what layers meant. If you still have questions, ask us and we'll try to answer them, and we will see you next time.